Top five is LJ number 1, MJ number 2, Kobe number 3, Steph number 4, and Shaq number 5.
Okay. You got Bron first.
Yes, because what Bron has done, like when you talk about Cicely Tyson,
yeah,
Bron started in 03. By 2005, Bron was the best player in the NBA.
Yeah.
In 2020, he was still the best player in the NBA. He was the best player in the NBA no matter what the game did.
So I was watching this video of Draymond Green talking about LeBron James being the best all time because he had to beat the best of all time. There's a lot of fallacies here. Number one, let's not forget Michael Jordan, 6-0 in the NBA Finals. Let's not forget, played for one team. We're not going to count the Wizards, guys. He was in his 40s, right? He was 39, 30, 38, 39, 40 when he came back. Michael Jordan took 6 teams to the finals, and he won 6 times. LeBron James arguably played for the best team ever up to that point when him and Chris Bosh decided to join Dwayne Wade in Miami. And what happened? They lost to the Dallas Mavericks in 2011 against aged veterans. Older Dirk Nowitzki, old Jason Kidd, was Peja Stojakovic part of that team? I think he was. Older Tyson Chandler, not very old, but older, right? And yeah, so a lot of fallacies here. So number one, we got to remember that Draymond Green was the guy who asked KD to join them after the Warriors lost in the playoffs, right? And at that point, the Warriors were already champions. You just lost once. Why not run it back and try to win? Why try to go after, the best guy, arguably in the planet, or a top 3 guy at the time in KD, when you already have Steph Curry and in prime Klay Thompson and yourself, right? And then in regards to LeBron James, I mean, is he the best ever, right? Is he the best? He's played for about 4 or 5 teams now. And I'm counting Cleveland as 2 teams because he went back twice. And you said that in 2005, he was already the best player. No, he wasn't the best player. He was one of the best. But as any basketball historian will tell you, LeBron James, he evolved, right? There was an evolution of his progression. He's one of the best to do it. I don't want to be a LeBron hater. But in 05, he didn't have an outside shot. In 05, he didn't have the post moves that he learned later on. In 05, he didn't have the post defense that he played, right? We know that after they lost to the Mavericks, he got in the gym. He added more to his game. We know that he added his outside shot later. So we have to be fair and honest. In 2005, Shaq was on the decline, but Shaq was still the diesel to an extent. You had Dirk Nowitzki, who was still rising. You had Tim Duncan, who was still doing Tim Duncan things, right? They won the finals that year. You had the Pistons, who were still doing great things. You had in prime Kobe Bryant, who's arguably the best player in that era. You had T-Mac and Vince Carter, Allen Iverson. I think he was declining a little bit. So props to LeBron, his longevity, for everything he's done. He's not the best player ever, number one. He's played for 4 or 5 teams. He's lost maybe 6 finals. He's lost the same amount of finals almost that Michael's won. He doesn't have the same accolades as Michael's, right? Whether that be MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, finals MVPs, all-time NBAs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't think the Warriors are the greatest team ever, right? There's a lot of arguments to be made. As a Spurs fan, I'll tell you right now, if your boy Pachulia doesn't injure Kawhi Leonard, there's an argument that the Spurs win that series, right? Because they were smoking the Warriors by about 25 points in that game 1. So that's my take. And like and subscribe and leave your comment below. I forgot one more thing. Conflict of interest, right? In my opinion, these guys are business partners. I hate to bring up old news, but we remember in the finals when they got into a scuffle, Draymond and LeBron James. Draymond called him a certain word that we don't typically call other men unless it's fighting words. And again, heat of the moment, no problem. But then soon after that, they become business partners and water under the bridge. So conflict of interest, yeah, I don't agree.